Hello guys, and welcome back to another one of these interviews, except this one's kind of different. I don't just have one interviewee, I have a duo, the dynamic duo. You guys have heard of Batman and Robin, Sherlock and Watson, Tom and Jerry, Starsky and Hutch, and my personal favourite, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. But I've got another duo here, and this time we're not talking to just writers, we're talking to a writer and an artist about comic books. So get ready for me to be absolutely roasted by two people who know way more than me about the art of making comics. It's Carina Conner and Catieedid. Hey guys.
Hi.
Glad to finally have you guys here. We've been talking about doing this for like ages now.
I know, it's so exciting. I've been really looking forward to it.
You're like the first comic creators that I've seen on here, because I usually talk with authors and I don't see a lot of comic stuff, but as my followers know, I'm a huge fan of comic books, so getting to chat to two indie comic creators pretty fun. So how did you guys get into making comics?
Okay. I've loved comics pretty much my whole life, but I have no artistic talent. So,
Karina's me in this scenario.
So, I definitely always wanted to work in that kind of medium where, like, you have a visual representation of things, because I'm really a dialogue-driven kind of writer, and I really enjoy telling stories through dialogue, and I really enjoy having, like, a picture painted in basic words and having the reader interpret that. And after meeting Caitlin, who has been an amazing artist the entire time I've known her, though she might say differently.
Well, she is. I've seen some of her work.
She is amazing. She's super amazing now. The most amazing now. But anyway, so we met, like, 10 years ago. And pretty much, like, off the bat, we were like, we love comics, you love writing, and I'll let Caitlin tell what I'm thinking of right now, but anyway, you love writing, you love drawing, we should, like, put this together, and we should do a thing. And that's when we started working at Basorexia 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, that's pretty much how that came to be, from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to high school together, so we've known each other for a really long time.
Even longer than 10 years,
yeah. And it's pretty much the same from my end. I definitely, like, would draw all the time, but without any sort of depth. I'd be like, I'm gonna make a comic, and then I get, like, 3 pages, and I'd be like, I don't know what's happening, I give up. So, like, when we met, and you were, like, writing all these awesome stories, you'd always ask me questions about my characters, and I'd be like, no, I don't know what their favorite food is. I never thought about that. I just care what they look like. So, like, we're just, like, you know, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. We just, like,
peanut butter and chocolate.
You know, like, you have a peanut butter.
Is that a good combo?
Reese's
peanut butter cups.
Fair enough. We don't have a lot of those in the UK.
I don't know. It's just like, you know, you do all the parts I don't like, and I do all the parts that you don't like, and then you just do well in those spots that we...
See, when you guys got into comics, I'm guessing Marvel DC had a lot to do with that, especially with how much Carina goes on about Dick Grayson.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sad Dick Grayson is the one you know me for, not Connor, but that's alright.
Wait, Connor as in... Superboy.
Yeah. The only Connor, not Connor Hawk, never Connor Hawk. Although no shade to Connor Hawk, he's just not my boy.
Yeah, well, Peter Parker's my boy, you know that.
Yeah, I know that.
One of the first things we did when we first, like, you know, met again after high school was go see Wolverine.
Yeah, it was like a few days after we, like, rekindled our friendship, was we went to see X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, God. Did you survive?
Yeah.
Somehow.
We came out of that being like, we should do a proper...
In all, as bad as that movie is, I did meet the guy who played Gambit a few years ago, and he's actually a very nice guy.
Oh, really? Who's that? What's his name?
It's the guy who did...
Taylor Kitsch?
Taylor Kitsch, that's it. No, he wasn't Chris Casket. That was Ben Barnes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Ben Barnes is the villain in Punisher, I think, but I haven't watched that Netflix show.
I did not know that, and I haven't watched that either. I'm, like, very anti the Netflix shows.
Yeah, there's something weird now. Pretty boys seem to be getting cast as comic book villains now.
I know. What is up with that?
Yeah, like, Robert Pattinson's cast as Batman, Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio.
Okay, but Batman's not a bad guy. Like, he's not a villain.
Really? He's a billionaire who beats up the mentally ill.
Yeah.
He might as well be a bad guy.
But, I mean, as far as, like, Batman's society informs us, that's, like, an okay thing to be. So, it's cute.
Are you giving me the whole "we live in a society" thing?
We live in a society, so I don't know if you knew, but we do.
And I understand, Carina, you wanted to roast me about a few things I've said on Twitter
Oh my
regarding
God, I don't
comic
even
characters.
remember. There's so many things that you have said that I want to like fight you about. But then
admittedly, I'm not as well versed in comics as you guys.
I don't remember. Like, I feel like, was it spoiler? Was it? Oh, it was Carrie Kelly. It was Carrie Kelly.
Oh yeah, you wanted to roast me for that.
Yeah, how dare you?
I just like Carrie Kelly. I like the idea.
What
of
about
a female
Carrie
Robin.
Kelly? Yeah, I like the idea of a female Robin too. I'd like a decent one with a well-written story.
I remember liking Dark Knight Returns when it came out.
What do you remember about Carrie?
She was ginger and cute.
Exactly my point. There's nothing about Carrie. I will stand
like
the hell out of a
good,
female Robin when a good female Robin comes. I'm sorry, but Stephanie Brown ain't it. This is my controversial opinion here. Stephanie Brown does not count as Robin. She was Robin for 10 minutes. That was stupid. And Carrie Kelly does not count either because nobody knows anything about Carrie. Who is she? Nobody. We don't know her. So when there's a female Robin that is a total badass and gets to do Robin shit and gets to be Robin for at least as long as Duke, then we can talk, you know?
I'm almost afraid to ask what you think of Damian Wayne.
So this is my most controversial opinion. I like Damian Wayne.
He's a total brat.
Yeah. And what?
Compelling.
So what? He's 10. Now he's 13, but he can be a brat if he wants to.
He's if Kevin McAllister was a smug douche in a Robin costume.
He's 10!
Yeah, I think that would be great. So, if Kevin was a Robin, but he got to be Grumpy Robin, which I thought was so much fun, and he got to be Grumpy Robin with Dick, which I thought was amazing. And I don't know, I know the Grant Morrison run is not popular, but I will die on the that was fun hill. I thought it was great. I love Damian. I really do.
It's a great dynamic.
Yeah,
I think Damian does get bad writers often, and they lean heavy on the brat crutch, and I think that sucks. But I think, when Damian shines, he really shines.
Sure. There was a thing I saw. I don't know if you know who Grace Randolph is.
No. Sounds familiar?
Hopefully you don't, because she's nuts.
Okay.
But when they were reporting casting for the new Batman, she was pushing heavily for Cole Sprouse for some reason.
Oh God!
But the more I thought about that, I think he could be a good Damian Wayne.
Well, first of all, he's like 30, so I don't. That wouldn't work. But
isn't he like in his mid-20s or something? He looks young anyway.
Well, he looks older than me. But look, the point is, Damian is half Chinese and Arab. He should be a brown person.
Fair enough. Yeah. He's Talia al Ghul's son, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Why do I keep forgetting this stuff? I just played Arkham like a month ago.
Dude, no, it's late where you are, right? So
yeah.
Personally,
I can name you off Spider-Man villains.
Oh, I know you could. I'm of the opinion that none of the Robins are white. Not even Tim, white privilege Drake.
Well, I've been advocating that I think Nightwing, if they ever cast him, should be played by an Asian actor. Like, Harry Shum Jr. was my pick for him.
That would be cute. I'm all for, even though Devin Grayson is horrible, I'm all for Romani Dick. I think that should be reclaimed by a Romani writer, and I think it would be beautiful to see him played by a Romani actor. I think they're they're such an underrepresented people, and I think it would be really cool to see that explored. But I'm not Romani, so I have no real say in how good that would be for the community.
And I saw an interview with the guy who played Aladdin. He said he wants to play Nightwing, which I could honestly see.
I would be okay with it. I would be happiest with a Romani Dick, but I would be happy with an Asian Dick. That would be totally cool.
I just don't want to see it go to Zac Efron or something.
Ugh, God. No,
I
love Zac. I love Zac, but no.
Just let him play Ted Bundy, for God's sake. Or not. Actually, Zac, don't become Ted Bundy in real life. You're far too charming. What the fuck am I going on about now? But anyway, the thing I really wanted to talk to you guys about was I feel comic book style storytelling is kind of coming back into literature in a way, like, you know, fun sort of genre pieces. I don't know if you keep up much on like the latest like YA lit scene, but that's the kind of stuff that I write. I mean, a lot of the stories that I'm working on probably could be comic books.
Yeah.
But there's this weird thing about comic book storytelling where it like mixes genre, coming of age, and a lot of dark elements, and people still, for some reason, think it's all just kids stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you guys are breaking that mold with Basorexia, which is fucking awesome.
Thank you.
I need to see more of this. Honestly, it was like I was brought right back to when my ex showed up near my fucking college. Granted, my ex was a girl, but still, I felt that.
It's that moment, yeah. That moment when you see that person again, and you're like, oh, I tried so hard to, like, erase this.
So where did that come from? I mean, were you guys, like, fans of, say, like, Cameron Crowe or John Hughesy kind of things?
Oh, yeah, I'm a huge John Hughes fan. Like, yeah. I would name The Breakfast Club as, like, the main inspiration mood, like, writing mood-wise for me for Basorexia. I want that kind of, like, that, like, capturing of, like, this, like, very, like, singular feeling, but, like, stretched out over time, and the singular feeling being kind of, like, awkwardness, but also, like, deep affection for your, like, friends, you know? Like, this, like, weird, like, you know, you love these people, and you hate these people, and, like, you know, you don't know how to act, kind of.
And, Katie, since you're, into art and stuff, that's something I'm kind of getting more back into, but more through the lens of really appreciating like comic book panels and cinematography and like the lighting and stuff like that. So do any of those influences come into you when you're like drawing stuff? Because I've seen your work and it's fucking incredible.
Thank you.
Like I'm saving up right now to get some Moonflower stuff done.
It's all just kind of like coming together. Like the characters we designed like 10 years ago look in some ways the same. Like we have kept the characters exactly how they were inside, and like over time my art has evolved, and with it kind of my interests in how comics are drawn and how they are like consumed, and I'm like really drawn by the webcomic kind of phenomenon that's been happening more and more lately with like long scroll, and it's just like a huge learning process with, you know, it's a really special story because it was our first that we worked on together, and it's finally kind of coming into the creation. And I don't know, it's hard to describe because everything that it is now, I don't know, I just can't do that.
You're saying what you're saying, I don't know.
No, I know.
Just pretend I'm Graham Norton, we can have a laugh.
I don't know, so it's just like...
It's been cool to watch your style evolve.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely, I think, were much stricter on yourself starting out. Like, I mean, you can see it in our early pages where they're just, like, blocked very, like, rigidly. And now you've, like, done, like, a lot of work with incorporating, like, white space, like, negative space into how the comics work. I love how sometimes in some of the panels, like, things stick out of the panel, or, like, a person is standing just outside the panel. I think it's, like, very different. Obviously, I know you're like inspired by some of the things that you're seeing, but I think that it really stands out stylistically. I know I'm completely biased, but you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some of your work where you like design book promos. Like I had Farida on as an interview earlier this month, and
Big
that
fan.
thing that you drew for her was, I sort of looked at it and I thought, does this mean those two characters are linked somehow because of the change thing? Then I saw it was actually an ace of spades, and like that kind of level of detail is stuff that I really love. So I mean, fucking hell, dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, I definitely feel very inspired by the YA community on Twitter, especially. I feel like it's really like it's been a huge change in my art, drawing for people who are writing stories. That's like my favorite thing, is to, like, I can't draw an image without knowing everything behind it. Like, I want to know exactly how they're feeling right now. I want to know what they're doing next. And so I feel like everything is kind of in motion. So, like, writing for books, writing for comics, it's just the only thing.
I really feel like your, like, your, like, desire to, like, know these characters intimately, but before you draw them really shows. I think that they always feel very human. Like when you look at their face, for me, when I look at the faces in our comic, but also like in general in your commissions, I think that they look really emotive and really human.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and especially, with how we've kind of changed the story of Basorexia over time, obviously.
Yeah.
But we've kind of tried to like take a step back and make it a bit more like a little pulled away. It's not so like this is what's happening. This is next.
It's more organic. Yeah. I think it's a little pantsy in that we're kind of like, let's just make them do things, and then they're gonna have to react, and they're probably gonna get themselves into a big old mess, but it'll be really organic,
Yeah, I totally get that. And see, for when you come to like drawing a character, do you ever use like? Because I imagine some artists might do this, but do you ever use like reference pics, like maybe from celebrities or something?
Course. Absolutely.
Good, because if I gave you one for Moonflower, you'd be surprised at who I'd compare her to.
I'm intrigued. No, and actually, it says a lot. Like when I do commissions, I actually encourage people to send me like what like actors or what people like have inspired this person. Because even if I drew, like I say like, oh, it's based off of like Daniel Henney, and then I like use a picture of Daniel Henney, no matter what, it's always going to be different. It's always going to be like an organic character because I can't draw him perfectly. So, and I think reference is really important for her, and I think that like if you don't use reference, it can get really kind of lost. So.
If I told you that looks-wise, I based Moonflower Jones off of Miley Cyrus, would that freak you out? Good, because like that, for some reason, that's the only actress I can see playing that character.
It's totally fair, yeah. Sometimes you just have that face,
I have no idea why. Maybe it's because for like her whole life she was known as a sweet, innocent girl, and I want to see her play a bad guy.
Yeah.
So
that would be cool.
No, I can appreciate different features from everybody. Like, I think that.
I like Miley's teeth.
I was thinking that. I was like, yeah.
I have a teeth thing. Like, whenever Caitlin asks me what my characters look like, one of the first things I mention is like, well, he has like big teeth. Yeah. Or, well, he has like really pointy like canines. He has a snaggle tooth.
Who do I know in comics with fucked up teeth?
That's a good question. Nobody.
The Green Goblin.
Okay.
Green Goblin. Yeah, I mean
that was just because
most villains I feel like don't have great teeth except for like Lex Luthor.
True.
Well, that's because Lex Luthor is like the most charming villain in DC Comics.
Yeah, he's got to have a beautiful smile.
Like when they were casting Lex for BVS a while ago, I was really hoping for Bradley Cooper. Then we got Eisenberg, but
can you imagine Bradley Cooper with a shaved head? Oh God!
I still think he could pull it off.
Oh, he'd look like a turtle.
I mean, did you see what Jesse Eisenberg looked like? He looked like a kid in chemotherapy.
Well, that's just kind of sad. Oh, Jesse. I liked him though. I really did.
I actually liked him in that role. I thought it was awkward.
I will stan BVS like forever. I don't care.
I like the rooftop scene with him and Superman. I wanted more of like Superman versus Lex ideology kind of thing.
Me too. Would have been cool to get another Superman movie.
I mean, I guarantee that they're going to recast Superman.
Oh yeah, they will. And I don't know. Hopefully they won't CGI his mouth again.
Oh dear. Oh.
That was horrible.
I can only imagine how bad that would look to a fucking artist.
The fleshlight mouth. So bad.
Well, Nicholas Hoult was in the run for Batman. I could see him playing Superman.
No.
Who?
No.
But he's got that farm boy look.
He's got weird teeth. No, I'm sorry.
Oh Jesus! Back to the teeth.
Well, he's the guy who's in Warm Bodies. The zombie.
Oh.
He's got a very pointy chin. Like, no, he's cute. He just has a very pointy chin and, like, very weird teeth. And Clark should be very classic. He should be classically handsome.
Well, I've just heard who the villains might be in the new Batman. Maybe he could be the Riddler.
Oh, I would be okay with that. I like the Riddler having weird teeth. I like that.
There's a rumor that Firefly is now going to be in the new Batman movie, which just intrigues me.
Huh. I haven't heard anything. I tend to not look into these things because I get really stressed out. But
it's a big topic.
It is. I get very intense sometimes.
I get stressed out with stupid comic book fans who say they know stuff and then show through their comments that they don't.
Yeah, me too.
like I've mentioned this to you before, when they said in the new Spider-Man movie that Mysterio is going to be a hero, I saw a bunch of people who were saying, like, why are they turning him from a villain to a hero? I'm like, that's exactly what Mysterio fucking does.
I don't know. People are frustrating. I don't like to, be a gatekeeper, but sometimes I get a little intense. Yeah, I don't know. People can be really frustrating. It's hard. It's hard to like want to get defensive, but also like not want to be like a gatekeeper. Be like, you're not nerdy enough for this. Shut up. But it's like it's how you feel. Like, actually, I grew up with this. So be quiet.
You and Frankie are like a dynamic duo on your own with comics.
I love Frankie. Frankie's like one of my favorite people, and I love that Frankie has all the right opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like. Frankie,
I was so scared when I posted, I like Gambit, please don't kill me.
Anybody who doesn't like Gambit is just incorrect. Like, I don't know how you could not like Gambit. He's cool as fuck.
Like, an actual Gambit movie, like the way I would do it, Gambit and Rogue love story, same bisexual energy as the new Men in Black movie. Like, in New Orleans.
I haven't seen the new Men in Black movie.
Well, it's only out this week, but, like, the trailers are extremely bisexual.
That's true. I would be down with that, as long as they don't actually end up together, because it's only fun if they like want it, but they can't have it.
Well, yeah, of course. I don't see Gambit as a kind of tied down kind of guy, anyway.
No, me either. Aren't they like married right now, though?
I don't know. I haven't read X-Men comics.
Last I was in the comic book store in Salem. It looked like they were Mr. and Mrs. something. I don't know. And I was like, oh, that's boring.
I don't know how I feel about that. I've always seen Rogue as like a free spirit.
Yeah, and Gambit as well. So I really am okay.
Not the whiny teenager she is in the X-Men movies.
Oh, I know.
I love Anna Paquin. I love her as an actress, but that version of Rogue, no, that's not Rogue.
I mean, some performances in those movies were really like character defining, and some really weren't. And that's all there is to say about that.
Very tactful.
I mean, like, Magneto and Xavier are great.
Mystique,
yeah. Wait, J-Law Mystique or Romjan Mystique?
Romaine. Definitely Rebecca Romaine.
Good.
Absolutely.
Jennifer Lawrence is literally blue Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence, no.
I'm annoyed that they wasted Pyro, to be honest. He was one of my favorite villains from the X-Men.
They wasted so much.
They turned Apocalypse into a Power Rangers villain.
I know. Not even a fun Power Rangers villain.
And I'm not seeing Dark Phoenix because it looks like garbage.
I'm gonna see it. I can't not see it, but I'm gonna not like it probably.
I already saw Last Stand and watched the Dark Phoenix story get butchered. I'm not gonna do it again.
I know, but if they have another one of those cool Quicksilver scenes, it'll be worth the price of admission just for that.
Well, it's in the 90s, so he's probably going to be running to, like, Smash Mouth's All-Star.
That would make my day 100%. I would be so into that. That would be... Yes.
I guess your team Fox Quicksilver over Kick-Ass Quicksilver from Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Literally, when I saw Age of Ultron, everyone knew Quicksilver was going to die.
That was so stupid. Terrible. I can't believe they wasted Quicksilver. Quicksilver is my favorite, like... He might be my favorite Marvel.
I kept waiting till the end of the movie being like, okay, when's he coming back? It's going to be like, haha!
Yeah, actually, I'm really fast. Oh, just kidding. I'm not. I'm not really fast.
I can't dodge.
And speaking of wasted potential, God, did they waste Ultron.
I know. And he was creepy. He had those weird lips. What the fuck was that? I know. So bad.
I'm one of the few that prefers like the open mouth Ultron design. It looks more frightening.
Yeah, the lips were disconcerting, to say the least.
I was like, I should not be laughing at a fucking Terminator, basically.
I know.
And I love James Spader, but not comedic James Spader.
Yeah, I love asshole James Spader. I love pretty and pink James Spader.
Oh, I've only seen that movie once, but he's got like long blonde hair.
Yeah, he's got the blowout and the Miami Vice kind of pale blue suit going on. He's always smoking, and he's like negging Andy because he wants to go out with her.
Well, we should move on into, like, I want to know, story-wise, where did the idea for Basorexia came from, because where Moonflower came from, in my mind, will surprise you, but I want to see if I'll be surprised from Basorexia.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Originally, it was actually going to be a superhero story.
It was.
Of course it was. That's how most comics start out.
It was. So, Noah, this was so long ago that it was originally in high school because we were just out of high school.
Yeah, that's right.
So we were going to have Noah be the main character. He's still pretty central. He starts the comic. But he was going to be a kid who discovered that he was able to, like, phase through walls, Kitty Pryde style. And
I'm into it.
It was gonna be cute. Wait, was he phasing? Yeah, he was phasing. What the fuck was that? Same shit.
It doesn't matter.
They all had an ability. Anyway, except for Jack.
He's normie.
Jack was gonna be their normie friend who died. So.
Yeah. And I remember we literally had a sleepover, and then we had this like existential crisis where we were like, we don't want to kill Jack. And then we're like,
now Jack is the main character.
Yeah.
Now I know how the creators of Titanic felt.
Yeah, us too. So basically, that's how it started off. We just wanted to do like kind of almost like a kick-ass like kind of setting and like kind of like lampooning superheroes a little bit, like kind of funny, kind of fun, totally gay. And then we realized...
That should be on a t-shirt.
Kind of funny, kind of fun, totally gay.
Summer in wherever it is you guys stay. Kind of funny, kind of gay, kind of sunny.
That would be accurate for our hometown. But... So basically, we also had another crisis sleepover. We were like, actually, like, we don't really give a fuck about superhero stuff. I mean, we do. But, like, we don't really, like, give a fuck about that part of the story. And, like, the part of the story that we care about most is, like, the relationships between the characters. And we were like, you know what? Like, what do we actually, like, you know, care about when we're reading stories and when we're reading comics? We care about, you know, Cable and Deadpool's interactions. You know, like, we care about...
Richter and Shatterstar's
interactions. We care about, you know, like, we care about the shipping. That's really what we care about in the end. And so we were like, you know what? People would read... a slice of life romantic gay comic, and we're just gonna make it. Yeah. And now we're here.
Well, I'm glad I got to hear the end of that because it froze halfway through. Yeah. But I got the gist of it. Gay romantic comic, didn't want to do superhero shit. I don't blame you. Because
it's just so convoluted.
Yeah.
I mean, I relate to that. The first thing I tried writing was a superhero story, and I'm like, okay, it has to have an origin story. Some lightning needs to hit him somewhere. He needs to have power somewhere. A villain also needs to be created. How does that... And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. How did Stan Lee do this back in the 60s?
Tell us about Moonflower, though.
That is a really long and fucked up kind of origin story for what is such a cute story anyway. I kind of got sick of writing stories that were coming from me being cynical, so I thought, well, why don't I write something about someone who brings me a lot of joy, and my little cousin is a complete nerd.
Aww.
And the one thing that I've never really seen before, what if a fictional character knew they were fictional and then didn't like it?
Aww.
Like, that surprisingly, that has not been done by any author before.
Cool.
And so I thought, like, exploring the sort of the philosophical existence of that, like, if you found out that your entire tragic backstory was written by somebody else, that'd probably drive you fucking nuts. Like, can you imagine if Peter Parker met Stan Lee and was like, why the fuck did you kill my uncle?
Yeah. For real.
But,
all this trauma.
It kind of deals with that, because growing up as a nerdy queer kid, all I had was fiction, and... That's kind of how I've written Millie. She lives her life through stories and then gets a chance to meet her favorite character and then has to find the hero within herself once she goes bad. And then it just becomes like a little fun adventure through London and queer stuff and evil bad guys and a final battle in her school playground. The final confrontation with her and Moonflower's in the school.
That's
just awesome. Like how... like how Spider-Man's villains always fight him in high school for some reason?
Yeah.
I wanted that. I wanted, like, the lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man fighting him in the high school.
That's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And it's like, with the thing I'm working on now with Oliver Twitch, that's more superhero inspired, but it's kind of done through the lens of like an Edward Scissorhands-y kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So like, it's basically if Edward Scissorhands was a superhero, and if his powers came from anxiety instead of like a big experiment or whatever.
Cool. I'm interested in that.
And I've the villain for that I based off Tom Holland.
Oh, the cutest little villain.
I mean, could you imagine Tom Holland as like a Logan Paul style YouTuber who's completely arrogant?
I don't want to.
Who will? I mean, have you guys seen Edward Scissorhands?
Yeah.
Just he'd just be like the boyfriend from that movie.
Oh, Tom Holland.
Oh man, it's not gonna end well.
No, it's not.
Honestly, just put him in a leather jacket and he's evil.
Aww.
That's what they did to Anthony Michael Hall. That's what I can do to Tom Holland.
That's
What?
true.
Anthony Michael Hall. Wow, it's a long time.
Aww.
Well, Anthony Michael Hall kind of became a dick lately, so...
Oh, has he? I haven't kept up with Anthony Michael Hall.
If you watch, like, interviews with him now, he looks like that old guy who's telling people to get off his lawn.
Sad. I really liked him when I was little.
Last big thing I saw him in was Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, really?
And,
Wow.
and there was, I think he was in The Dark Knight as, like, a news reporter or something.
Yeah, I remember that. He was in a TV show. I don't remember. He's all, like, macho-y now.
Yeah, but or he was.
It's so weird, because, like, him and Tom Holland remind me a lot of each other. Like, I feel Tom Holland's this generation's Anthony Michael Hall.
I can hear it kind of in, like, the way he delivers lines as Peter.
Yeah.
He has, like, that nerd voice.
I mean, he would have been Spider-Man if they made it back in the 80s. Not Tom Cruise, like it was rumored.
God, can you imagine Anthony Michael Hall as Spider-Man?
I don't want to see risky business Tom Cruise as Spider-Man.
No, he's too cool. Even, but when he had the snaggletooth.
I could see him as Harry, maybe.
Harry?
Yeah, Tom Cruise is, like, 80s Tom Cruise as Harry, I could see.
Actually, yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so, another thing I wanted to get into more on the art design stuff, was there any, like, comic book artists that influenced you? Because, like, I'm a big Steve Ditko fan, and a lot of his designs and stuff. But I don't know many outside of, like, that Alex Ross, I think is his name. And, like, Jim Lee and those kind of guys.
Who were the Young Justice artists?
Oh,
I'm really bad at holding names in my head.
The new Young Justice?
Yeah, the new ones.
I have their names.
There's like Marcus Toe, who I
Marcus Toe's great.
really like, and there's one who's like the beautiful coloring.
Hold on, let me open Comixology.
No, he also did. But I don't
Marcus Toe did do
stuff. But there are.
Oh, Francis.
Yeah, that's
Francis Manipul was really good.
Francis Manipul. I really love their stuff.
My books.
A lot of my artist inspiration is like other artists that are on the internet. Like I very much.
Patrick Gleason
Yes.
and Sanchez. I can't remember his last name. His first name, sorry.
Is that the guy who drew the cute one?
No. Cute Wally. Which cute Wally? You mean the
Isn't
Marcus
Wally
Toe?
always cute? Not gonna lie.
Not always. No. I mean, as
Keenan Lonsdale's
but
cute as fuck.
first of all, yeah, Keenan. But first of all, let us not forget that very recently, Wally killed a bunch of his friends and then framed Booster Gold and Harley Quinn. I was heartbroken.
Is this in the comics now?
Yes, I was heartbroken when I thought Booster Gold brain damaged her. So it was actually his best friend / sometimes boyfriend Wally who killed Roy. Also, right?
Oh, you are.
So let us
Is
not.
this a legit thing or like an Elseworlds kind of
No,
thing? That sounds weird. What is happening to comics
Don't you remember that Dick became Rick Grayson because he forgot his name?
Right.
And he forgot who he was, and he shaved his head, and he looked disgusting.
Oh god.
You're not missing much.
The last big Wally story I saw was where, like, I don't know, I think his brother was the Reverse Flash or something.
Oh, stupid. Don't.
And he looked like a Dementor.
Don't tune in now because it's really stupid right now. And I think Scott Lobdell is writing him, and I hate Scott. I hate you, Scott Lobdell.
The Flash TV show has gotten weird now as well.
I haven't watched in a long time. I stopped watching in season 2.
You didn't miss much. Season 3 wasted their best actor. And season 4 is just ridiculous.
That sucks.
Sure.
I mean, yeah.
They had Tom Felton be cool for like a couple episodes, then he just becomes British scientist #1.
Sad.
What a waste of Tom Felton.
He's so great. Little Draco.
I would imagine that even though your comic's not a superhero one anymore, you guys are definitely going to reference comics and stuff you like in it at some point, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because from what I sent you in Moonflower, you know I did that with Superman.
Yeah.
I could only do it with Superman 78 because it's set in 1985.
I mean, I think that's good. We definitely will. Noah is not exactly a comics person, but Jack certainly is, and Jack has his chapters coming up after Noah's are done, or done for now. And there will be other characters coming in. Jack, I think, is really the biggest nerd in the group. But, you know, the others try to keep up.
And I know this is like a Patreon thing, but will you be able to buy like a full version of it when it's all done?
That is a very stretched goal. If we can get, you know, get the support on Patreon to figure that out financially, like, that would be awesome. But
alright, yo, if anyone listening to this, if there's any Patreon that you want to subscribe to and you just need that Patreon love in your wallet, then these two fucking deserve it.
Thank you. We're hoping it'll catch on when more of the comic is up on Tapas.
It's still really early.
I'd rather see you guys get like a lot of Patreon stuff than like fucking Jeremy Griggs.
Who is that?
The Geeks and Gamers guy is a total asshole.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I would also rather get money than a total asshole get money.
Same.
I mean, it'd just be a great existence, wouldn't it, if all assholes didn't get money?
Yeah. And gay comics got all the money.
That would also be great. Wait, how much did I send you of Moonflower? Because I forget.
3 chapters.
Okay, 3 chapters, that's fine. Because there's one moment in it later on that I kind of wanted to get your take on.
Yeah.
When she runs away from home and goes to London with like Moonflower and stuff, obviously they have to buy different clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And Moonflower dresses in kind of the Superman colors.
Oh.
And one of the things Millie does is like Moonflower saying shit like, I don't like how I look in this, I look like an idiot. Millie gives her a pair of glasses and says they'll hide your identity.
Oh, cute. I love that.
It's a great nod.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I did actually draw that a while ago, but the design of it's not good. I'm not an artist.
Yeah, we want to see it.
Trust me, it is not good.
Sometimes
you will
just,
roast
like,
me so hard.
Yeah.
We wouldn't roast you, no. And Caitlin certainly wouldn't. Caitlin's very encouraging. I try to draw sometimes.
Sometimes I really feel like seeing what your vision helps like me out a lot. Like, remember when you drew that scene of yours?
Oh yeah, Caitlin did draw a scene that I drew for some meme or something. And then, and you did a cute job. It was really good, even though mine was stick figures.
You memed your own comic?
No. This was for my book.
Oh right.
I had to like draw a scene for my book or something as like part of the writing meme, and then Caitlin liked it so much that she just drew her own version of it.
I did fan art.
Yeah, she did fan art of my art of my work.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but
oh yeah,
that looks great.
I think it looks good.
It's just a rough sketch. It's kind of lame, but
not at all.
It's not lame.
No, see, like that gives me so much, like it's so much with that. Like if you had just told me like wearing a red jacket and like pants with a belt, like I would have imagined something completely different. So, like seeing your take on it.
I mean, I wanted it to look like a cape, but
Yeah.
now she's doing the thing where like people put a jacket around it and they don't put their arms in the sleeves. I hate when people do that.
It's like in an anime when they're like trying to look like a general.
Yeah.
Oh god, if Moonflower was in an anime, she would get killed so hard.
Damn, that's hard.
I know, like
I don't watch a lot
faith
of I don't watch a lot of anime, but as from the stuff I've seen, it's usually the ones where they have swords the size of skyscrapers and yell for a lot of frames.
Well, I watch sports anime, so I think she'd be okay. To be honest, they might throw a basketball at her.
In comic books, I think a lot of the best stuff comes from like their bad guys, and I imagine Basorexia isn't the kind of thing where it has like a legit bad guy, maybe an antagonist.
I don't know about legit, but we do have a bit of an antagonist coming up. He doesn't see himself as an antagonist at all. But he's coming.
Is he like a jock or something?
He is a bit of a jock. I don't know how much I can say. I don't know why we're trying to keep him as a surprise, but we are.
Anthony Michael Hall and Edward Scissorhands. That's all I need to know.
And he's not quite there. He's more of a cultured man. He's a cultured young man. He is a man of many interests. And he does not think that he is as bad as Noah might make him out to be.
Yeah, I think it's like a common, like, when you're, especially in college, when you're meeting people who are trying to impress you, it's easy to take them wrong.
You know, those one-uppers.
That sounds a lot like the villain I based Tom Holland off of.
Really?
Except I'm pretty sure your guy wouldn't have a gun and try kill somebody.
Absolutely not. He would never, ever, ever hurt somebody to death. He might hurt somebody to a different level, but not death.
Yeah, and usually
and usually he's supposed to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So where I was going from that, do you guys have any like favorite comic book villains that you've seen? It doesn't even have to be super villains. It could be stuff from like, I don't know, Fables or Hellboy or whatever the Dark Horse guys are doing now.
Do you have favorite villains? I hate villains.
I know, like,
I really don't find them very fun.
I like like, what's it called? Like,
anti-heroes?
Yeah, anti-heroes.
So like your Punishers and your Batman and that kind of stuff.
I'm trying to think of villains outside of comic books, because I actually hate most comic book villains. I think they're lame.
Yeah, they're very. I don't like, because it's just no fun if they're just evil.
Oh, I like Killmonger.
Ooh, yeah.
I think his beauty has a lot to do with that. But
Michael Bay Jordan, right?
So beautiful. But I mean, also I don't know. I'm down with the cause. Yeah. But anyway,
it's true. Like villains that are you can see both sides.
Killmonger's the best villain the MCU has done for sure.
Definitely. I mean, I love Lex Luthor.
We share that in common.
Yeah.
He's my favorite comic book villain.
He's because I fuck so heavy with the super fan, I can't not love Lex Luthor, I feel like. What do I like? What are things that I like?
The Green Goblin's one I really like.
He's cool. I don't hate him.
He's Batman if Batman was the Joker.
That's true. Video game villains.
And I really there's a rumor he might be in the new movies, and I really want Tom Cruise to play him because he will build an actual glider.
What is a video
No, this is actually a really compelling question. I'm
what is something that I like? I don't know what I like.
Literally, I could just name any Spider-Man villain, and they'd be in my top 10.
Yeah, you're loyal. Doc Ock is cool. I do like Doc Ock.
Electro's one that I want to do a solo comic for.
Yeah? Aww.
Yeah, it's weird. I find the whole starfish mask and the green spandex kind of endearing.
I like Jason Todd when he's put into the villain role. I think he's fun.
Under the Red Hood's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, he's a really interesting character. He's not my favorite Robin, but he is he's fun. I liked when he was fighting Dick.
Than Robin, though, isn't he?
Oh yeah, but people still, even if they love him for being Red Hood or they love him for fighting with Bruce or Dick, they still consider him their favorite Robin.
I was sure if they kept Ben Affleck on as Batman that they were going to have Red Hood as the villain.
I wish that they had done that. I would have loved to see that. But it also, I don't know, it never would have looked like the Jason of my imagination, so it's probably better that didn't happen.
People were still suggesting Jensen Ackles to play the role when he's the same age as Ben Affleck.
Yeah, no.
I thought the kid from Kingsman would have worked.
Taron?
Oh.
I could see him as Jason Todd.
See, to me, I deeply believe Jason Todd to be Asian because he was mistaken for Lady Shiva's son. And
really?
So, yeah, just once.
Damn.
But I will never forget. And so, to me, Jason Todd is Asian. So I will never get the Jason that I want. But that's okay.
Who's that guy from The Walking Dead?
Steven Yeun.
Oh.
Yeah, that everyone fan casts in like every Asian role.
I would take that.
I can see it.
He'd be cute. He has a good voice. I think he'd be a good because he does Keith.
Keith,
right?
yeah.
He does Keith. Yeah, he could do it. From Voltron.
He's one of the few guy actors I've seen that actually pulls off facial hair.
Yeah, he always looks good. He's really cute. He's handsome.
But that kind of goes on to anything. I'm curious if you guys like had a chance to write any like big comic book character, who'd you pick and why?
Superboy, because I am 100% devoted to Superboy. I think I am the only person who could write him correctly. I say that 100% genuinely. And I have like a thigh-sized thigh tattoo of Superboy's face. Okay, that Caitlin designs.
Really?
I really, really do. I really do. Yep, I do. And so, I would love to write a Superboy run. And if I did, it would be... This is I've thought about this a lot.
Really, yeah.
So, if I did...
Please, just make it a pitch. Just full-on pitch.
We've definitely drawn
Okay, so if I did a Superboy run, it would be, like a Death of Superman kind of thing, where Superman dies, John is too young to take the mantle, and Superboy has to take the mantle. Connor. I know that John is also Superboy. So Connor has to take the mantle, and he doesn't feel, ready for it, and he doesn't feel like this is what Clark would have wanted. And he has to, make some sort of relationship happen between him and John. And that would be, the whole, everything. Him trying to win over the people as, the new Superman, him trying to win over his brother, essentially, even though Clark never would have called him that, and him trying to make peace with Clark never having really loved him as a son.
That sounds really dope.
That's my tattoo.
Is that your that is awesome. Holy
it's
shit.
Huge.
That's my tattoo.
Oh my god, that is great. That tops any tattoo plan I've had. I've had ideas to get the Peter Pan children flying as a
Aww,
tattoo.
that'd be cute.
So like in the infinite sign, so forever young.
Oh, that'd be super cute.
It's the one
And because I don't want to be a cliche, but with great power comes great responsibility as
that
well.
would be great. Yeah, I really just wanted a a retro style bust of Superboy. I don't know.
It was a Christmas gift.
It was. Caitlin drew it for me, and I was like, I want it on my body.
I'm gonna get it tattooed, and I was like, haha, okay. And then you did.
I did. Yeah, I really did.
Caitlin, I guess you can do this anyway, but if you could draw for any comic book character who you really wanted to.
Yeah, who would you pick?
I love Blue Beetle. Guy Gardner. I would bring back that bowl cut so fast.
Yeah!
I would.
See, up until I spoke to Carina the first time, I always assumed Guy Gardner was an asshole and no one liked him.
He is an asshole,
He
and
is
we
an
love
asshole,
him.
and I still love him. I don't care that he's a Republican. I think he's great.
Wally's a
Wait.
Republican.
So is Wally, and I love Wally.
Wait, are you the one who did that whole thread of comic book characters who are actually Republicans? I remember seeing that.
That was not me. That wasn't me. I only know of the two redheads who are Republican. I assume Bruce is a Republican.
Oh,
But-
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
definitely. I would also...
And Barbara Gordon is a Republican.
Oh, yeah, all the
because Dick was like, I'd like to do some help with the communities, to maybe help people not become criminals by putting in social programs. And she's like, what are you, stupid? And I'm like, oh my god, I hate you, Babs. But anyway.
Babs.
Is Captain America a libertarian?
Yeah.
The sad thing is I can actually see that.
It's just true. It's clearly...
Despite how delightful Chris Evans is.
It's demonstrably true. He is a libertarian.
Yeah, that's true.
Spider-Man, please stay innocent. Don't be a dick.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man's definitely a socialist. I believe he's a socialist.
To be fair, 60s Spider-Man was legit a dick.
Yeah, I feel like they all kind of went through
through
waves of that. Yeah, definitely in the 60s. Also in the 80s. When Dick Grayson... I know it always comes back to Dick, but when Dick Grayson... when he slept with Babs, and then in the morning after, he invited her to the wedding with Corey.
Oh, God.
What an asshole! I love that boy. He's crazy.
Anyway, I did have a pitch for you guys as well.
Okay.
I I already mentioned that I'd want to write Electro, but like I've legit thought about this whole weird arc, and since you said you were a John Hughes fan, you'll probably be into it. I would set this in the 80s amongst like the power craze, and Max Dillon be like this electrician guy who gets frustrated that people abuse their power and shit like that, because I always write from like a thematic angle. So like I had this idea for a scene where he's getting off at a guy for like wasting his energy, and he says, well, if I keep breaking my lights, then you won't have a job. And then Max just comes back like, well, if you keep abusing it, then no electricians are going to have a job. And so it would just kind of be like, eventually he gets dicked over by Norman Osborn, becomes a criminal, starts kind of taking the power for himself and using it in a way he sees as responsible. Then in the background you have like Spider-Man, Mary Jane, and stuff like that. Just like a little mini-series.
Yeah.
Maybe the Vulture as well.
Oh, yeah!
I feel like the Vulture being in there, he'd definitely be like an old school conservative.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep. Definitely.
I mean, I know Michael Keaton played him off as that kind of that, but didn't go all the way.
I mean, I loved him.
He was great, but that sounds awesome. I would totally be into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I modeled my Spider-Man and Mary Jane off Anthony Michael Hall and Molly Ringwald, because that's just what you have to do.
I like it. I'm into it.
Anthony Michael Hall would have totally been Spider-Man.
I know, you're 100% convinced about this. I see that you have thought about this more than once. So.
Well, he was kind of like my first like guy crush.
Aww.
Like when I first saw The Breakfast Club.
Aww, that's the one you focused on.
I was I'm not into the jock guy, and John Bender would probably cheat on you.
I would be okay with it. I
know,
I love Bender.
That's like
he had the gray streak. Yeah, oh, he's so cute.
Didn't John Bender play a supervillain?
Did he?
I have no idea.
I think he was like in Shaft or something.
I can't say that I watched Shaft.
You know I've drawn Jack in Bender's outfit before?
Yeah, I know. Didn't I ask you to do that?
I think you did.
I'm sure he was in like a 90s superhero movie as the villain.
That's cool. I like him. He is a style inspiration for Jack, for sure. Bender, definitely.
Oh, is he going to be wearing like the full John Bender outfit?
That's great.
At one point he may, you know. He does love bandanas.
Around the...
And like those cut off like vests, those denim cuts. The plaid. He loves plaid.
Admittedly, when they were playing The Breakfast Club at my local theater, I did dress up like John Bender.
Oh my god! That's really cute. I love that. I would have dressed up as the Freak.
The Freak was me in high school. Without
the Freak was you in high school.
It was not. I didn't steal, but like that was my look.
I was
Zendaya as Mary Jane is totally Ali Sheedy.
Yeah,
like 100%.
Yeah, I would have been probably the nerd. Yeah, I would have been Brian.
Caitlin, would you have been like sticking cereal in a sandwich and stuff? I don't know what she does.
Potato chips.
Well, that makes sense. But like pixie stick dust and cereal, like, does that even compute in the stomach? No.
I can see Caitlin drawing that like winter scene and then like scratching her head and putting the dandruff on it. That's like I can see you.
And then like leaning over and like staring at you. I was high school.
You dressed like that. That was almost exactly what you dressed like.
That was my look.
I mean, at least it's not as uncomfortable as rewatching 16 Candles was.
Oh my god, horrible.
We did that not too long ago.
Ugh.
We did, because we watched To All the Boys I Loved Before, and I was like, I have nostalgia. And I was like, this was a mistake.
Should have left that.
Should have left that nostalgia where it was.
They literally play a gong every time he shows up, and it's
know.
like, why?
That
Why
sucks.
John Hughes? Ugh.
There's just so many levels to that movie that were that.
I know, all the, like, non-consent scenes.
Like, that was just funny.
I'll always have Ferris Bueller in Breakfast Club.
Yeah, we'll always have that.
One of the things I wanted to do was, you might have seen me pitching this a while ago, but gay Ferris Bueller.
Hell yeah, that would be dope.
Like, quitting summer school to go to Pride Festival. And it's just done in the style of Ferris Bueller.
Hell yeah.
That's really awesome.
That would be so cool.
Anyway, I think we're approaching near the end of this, so is there anything else you guys want to mention about, like, your own work or anything? Because I've talked enough this interview and my throat really hurts.
Is there anything you want to say?
I feel like Christian Bale's Batman right now.
I don't know, just that, trying to write what we've always wanted to see in comic books. We really want to focus more on, like, the relationships between the characters and and more about how they interact with each other necessarily than like, you know, a big villain and a big like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just what we've always wanted. Like this comic is just something we've always wanted to see.
I just want to say that Basorexia has been cooking for 10 years. And so you can expect very, very... I find them very well-developed characters because I've been developing them for eons. And I think that Basorexia is and will continue to be a really character-driven story. And anybody who likes character-driven stories and anybody who really wants to know lore about characters should follow the comic and talk to me because I know every single thing about them from their favorite color to how they die. So, you know.
That's why she's right.
Yep, that's why.
I'll be honest, the main detail I'm focusing on that is cooking for 10 hours. Or 10 years.
10 years.
10 hours.
I'm like,
Not 10 hours.
That must be a really slow cook on a very low temperature.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Falling off the bone.
Very tender.
But it'll definitely be worth it, because from what I've read so far, if the rest of it's as good as that, then...
Thank you.
The rest of it is better, because the beginning is always awkward.
Yeah, first chapter.
So, as it moves, it's going to find its rhythm. It'll be great.
Well, if I ever see you guys at a Comic-Con, then you'd be cool to hang out with.
Yeah. Oh, please hang out with us. It'd be awesome. And we'll just nerd out the whole time.
Like, I don't know if you watch Collider, but, like, comic book shopping, that's legit the kind of stuff I'd want to do.
Yes, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, I've hung out with... Well, I've interviewed a few of those guys from Collider. They're pretty fun.
Yeah?
Like, some of them. Oh, God, I hope they don't watch this.
They won't know who you're talking about. Some of them are fun, some of them maybe not.
Maybe they agree.
Yeah, maybe they agree. Maybe they're like, yeah, I'm not fun. I'm not fun at all. They're
Oh.
talking about me. I suck.
Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for coming on. This was a great final interview to do. I have so many of these to edit.
Thank
So
you.
I'm probably going to
us.
get them... Probably they'll be coming out during the month of July, knowing my schedule with editing. There's a lot of stuff to do with
By
it.
then we'll have a lot more.
Yeah, by then we'll have so much more of the comic out, so...
Yeah, definitely. So, for anyone who's listening, where can the guys find you, and where can we find your comic?
We are on tapaswhat.io / Basorexia. We are on patreon.com / Basorexia. We are on Twitter. I am at ETA Carina Conner.
And at Catieedid with 2 E's. The other one's taken.
Yep. And those are all the places where you can find us, so please come find us.
Yeah.
And as always, guys, you can find me at NolanDean27. You might have seen my latest video on Captain Marvel. Since this video here is out in the future, I'm already imagining that I'm getting 100 death threats per day. So,
Hopefully not.
So as always, follow me at NolanDean27. Look out for a next interview. I don't know who I'm going to be interviewing next, but I got my eye on a few authors. Not like in a creepy way, but like some that are like, yeah, I want to pick your brains and have a laugh with you guys. And you guys have been an absolute pleasure, honestly.
Same, likewise.
Thank you.
And if that's all, I guess you guys know what to do. If you like this content, you just hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.
Bye.